What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today's topic, we're going to talk about COLA for 2025. We're going to take a look at the projection. So the Senior Citizens League, they updated their projection. So I'm going to show you guys that today. But first off, if you guys can do me two favors, just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys this article. And this is coming from the Senior Citizens League. And they're talking about the projection for COLA for 2025. So, spoiler alert, let me just give you the information here. It says their projection is 2.63%. Okay, so let's read a little bit about what they say here. It says, our model points to substantially a lower COLA for the next year after the 3.2% COLA in 2023. Okay, so they're saying that the projection is it's going to be lower than 3.2%. And then they're also saying the 2025 COLA prediction is about 2.3%, and that is up. Okay, so it's actually, it rose just a little bit from the 2.57% last month. Now, when you're looking at these numbers, 2.57, that's really 2.6% if you round it up. And then when you're looking at the 2.63, that's really 2.6 if you round it down. Okay, so that's the way you have to kind of look at that. So there is a slight uptick, but it's not a huge increase. The CPIW for June, because the numbers just came out. So the CPIW for June was 2.9%. Now, we don't know what we're going to be looking at when it comes to the CPI for July. We have June numbers, but July is what counts. July, August, and September. Those are the 3 months that they use to calculate COLA. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about, and I thought this was interesting that they mentioned this, they're talking about the rising cost of food. Now, I want to talk about something before I show you guys this information when it comes to groceries and food items, the rising costs. When we're looking at COLA, why is COLA important? Well, COLA is important because the purchasing power. We want to keep up with the cost of items, okay? Now, when we're looking at inflation, when prices go up, if the cost of living adjustment does not keep up with those prices, then you have less purchasing power, which means if you're retired and you're relying on Social Security and your retirement, or some people are relying only on Social Security, that really impacts you. That means you have to make some serious choices when it comes to buying food because you don't have as much money as you had the year before or 10 years prior to that. And so that's why COLA is very, very important. And that's why using the CPIW, what they're currently using right now, doesn't reflect how seniors spend. And so that's why you have some lawmakers that are out there, Social Security 2100 Act, you have some different proposals that have been thrown around that will address the fact that we need to change that metric from the CPIW to the CPIE. Because you have to think of this. When we're looking at the CPIW, that's for wage earners and clerical staff. That's for people who are currently working. And so comparing wages to inflation, wages has outpaced inflation. So I think wages is around 4%, somewhere around there. Inflation right now is at 3%. And so what that means is people are making more money now than they did last year. And so because they're making more money, they can tolerate higher inflation. However, if you are living on a fixed income, if you're retired, you're receiving Social Security benefits, your retirement plan, it will be harder for you to adjust because you're not earning a wage. If you're earning a wage, you're getting bonuses and you're getting raises and things like that. That is affecting you, and that is keeping you afloat. That is keeping your purchasing power stronger than someone who is retired. That's why this is very, very important for us to focus on the cost of living adjustment and also focus on the metric that they're using. And let me show you this. And it says the fastest rising food costs since 2020, okay? And so they're using the Bureau of Labor Statistics to get this information, and they're looking at eggs here, dozen eggs, up 86%. Now, part of that was because of the bird flu and some of the other issues that they had over the last couple of years. And so that was a big part of the reason why egg prices really skyrocketed. But look at this, iceberg lettuce, 72% increase. White sugar, 1 pound, 45% increase. Canned soft drinks, 1 dozen, 44% increase. Orange juice from concentrate, 12-ounce can, that's 41%. Bottled soft drinks, 2 liter, that's 39%. These are all increases, okay? Ground coffee, 1 pound, that's 39%. Chocolate chip cookies, 1 pound, that's 38%. Ham, 1 pound, that's 35%. And then white bread, 1 pound, that's 35%. So you see the increase here since 2020. And the prices of items at the grocery store, you hear the CEOs and you hear them talk about, yeah, we're lowering prices. We haven't seen it yet. And that's something that is really impacting a lot of people. And you have people that don't believe the numbers when they're looking at the CPI score at 3%. And they're saying 3%. But when I go to the grocery store, I'm still spending $120, $130 and walking out with 3 bags of groceries. So they're not feeling it. And so we'll have to see what happens in the future. I do know one thing. When it comes to fast food, the fast food industry, they realize consumers are really pushing back on fast food. And I think it's good. And this is what needs to happen. We need to see the same thing when it comes to groceries. But groceries are more of a necessity. When it comes to fast food, you don't have to go get fast food. You can go to the grocery store and buy food and make it yourself. But you need food. So the fast food industry, they're seeing it. And that's why you have the $5 Happy Meal and $5 Value Meal, all this stuff that you're seeing them roll out. They're rolling this out because they're getting pushback from consumers. Wendy's was they put out they wanted to do dynamic pricing where they would change the price according to the time of day, and consumers said, no, we're not going for that. And they quickly backpedaled on that and said, no, we were just kidding. Well, they didn't say they were just kidding, but they changed their mind about doing that. And I even saw Walmart. They were talking about having a digital screen for the price. And so they can change the prices throughout the day if they really wanted to do that. So technically, they could do dynamic pricing if they wanted to do it as well. And we'll have to see what happens with Walmart. Will they use that to have dynamic pricing? So just to give you an example, let's say you have items on the shelf and those items you're starting to run low on those items, then guess what? Raise the price because you have less of the items, and which means that people are purchasing whatever that product is, so the demand is up. Let's raise the prices just for a couple of hours until we get rid of those, and then we'll get some more in, and then so they could do that if they wanted to. Now, what is being said is that that's not the plan. The plan is to just go digitize when it comes to the price tags, but we could really see a change in how we could see dynamic pricing when it comes to going to department stores and going to grocery stores even when they get to that point. The grocery store chains, the largest grocery store chain right now is Walmart, and if they have these digital price tags, then they can do the same thing with groceries. They can raise the price. They can also drop the price, which would be good. So you could go in and let's say they have too much of a certain item and they want to get rid of those items, then they can drop the price just electronically, which is it's crazy. So and part of the reason that Walmart is saying that they're doing this is because they don't need as many staff. They can reduce the number of staff that they have, because if it's digital, you don't have to have a physical person walking through there and changing the tags. You can just get on a computer program and change all the tags that way. So that's something that they're looking at. But we'll have to see. I'm going to follow that story. I actually want to do a separate video just on that, just talking about that. But the bottom line is you have customers that are pushing back, and I like this when it comes to fast food. I want to see it when it comes to groceries as well. When you get people pushing back and saying, you know what, we've had enough. This, inflation fatigue is what they call it. We're done with this. We're tired of spending all of this money, and maybe at the grocery store you only get essential items, and a lot of this other stuff, you just don't get it anymore. And then you'll have stores that will scramble to try to figure out, okay, we're going to have to lower our prices and have more sales in order to get people to shop at our establishment. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. But I wanted to give you that information. So right now, 2.63%. That is the projection for COLA for 2025. If you guys have any questions, post them down below. And then also remember, July, we're going to be really watching the numbers for July, and we'll get those in August, and we'll see what the CPI score looks like for July, and we'll be watching August as well and September, because we want to know what COLA is going to look like. And then you guys know how I do this. I will let you guys know every month when we get that information. We'll start doing some calculations, so we'll have a good idea of what we're going to be looking at when it comes to COLA for 2025. And then in October, right before they announce, I'll make an announcement and let you guys know. And so you'll probably get the information, at least my prediction, which is a pretty good prediction. If you go back, for the last 2 years I've been doing this, if you go back and you look at my predictions, I was spot on when it came to the COLA for both 2023 and 2024. And you can go back and you can check my videos and you'll see that I was spot on. So that's all I have for you guys. Like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.